Welcome and hello. This is Transparency Talk, and I'm Christina. Today's guest is Mr. D.L. Hughley, the original Kings of Comedy. Thank you so much.
For sure,
I'm excited to be here.
Glad to see you. I'm
You
glad
look
to see
great.
You look great.
Thank you so much. So I'm gonna have a quaint, candid conversation with you.
Okay.
Ask you a couple of questions.
For sure.
Everyone knows you're a comedian and that
Right.
you're an author.
Right.
So where are you from?
I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Do you still live in LA?
I live in LA and New York, yes.
And New York.
Yeah.
So which city is your favorite city?
Los Angeles.
Obviously.
Well, you know what? For me, it's my home. It's what shaped me. It is where I connect to and get my energy. I love New York, but it's just and it's a dope city, but it's just not where I'm from. So I feel like I was born in the best place from my perspective.
So from East Coast and West Coast, the West Side, as they call it, not the coast, and the East Side,
For sure.
music. Do you prefer music from the East Coast or the West Coast?
From the West Coast.
Well, I mean, seriously, you could be from the West Coast and Biggie could be one of your favorite
Yeah,
rappers.
for sure. He's one of my favorite rappers. But I think that artists they paint pictures, and it's up to you to decide whether you connect with them or whether you relate to them or whether they imbue your perspective. And I think because I grew up in the West, the artists that seem to have the most connectivity with is people that have seen the things I've seen and walked the places I've walked and have a kind of drank from the same water I have. But it's no disrespect to anybody else. It's just I have a Western perspective because I have a Western influence.
So, in terms of music from the West Coast, rap, R&B, jazz, what's your favorite genre?
I never had a genre. I never really went. I like this better. I like music that makes me feel what I'm intended to feel. If I hear music, it makes me want to dance, then I dig it. If it makes me want to sit back and listen, then I dig it. If it makes me want to make love, then I dig it. So I don't categorize it that way. I just good music is music that makes me feel the way that ultimately the artist intended for me to feel.
So do you have any favorite artists? R&B female artists?
I have a ton of favorite.
Give me your top three.
My top three, I love Anita Baker. I love Shaka Khan. I love Tony Braxton. I love a lot of artists, but those are the ones who I listen to, and I see where I've been, and I see where I like to be in their purview. So.
What about three male artists?
Oh, well, of course, Luther, Al Green, and Marvin Gaye.
Of course, Marvin Gaye.
Right, of course. I got to say Stevie Wonder too, but for me, now I'll answer your question because you asked, and so I'll give the deference of respecting your question, but I just think I've heard and listened to and taken in so many artists, but I just think those artists I mentioned, and I won't say three, but those four, consistently go where I'm going.
What do you like to do when you're not traveling on stage, in the studio, with the D.L. Hughley show?
Sure. I like to read. I like to see. I like to be in the moment. So I don't necessarily know that there's a thing I like to do, but whatever it is, I like to dig it for that moment. But I like to enjoy whatever that moment has to offer.
What is your takeaway from your experiences?
That I know so little, that I want to learn more, that I'm open to possibilities, that I'm certain of what I'm uncertain about.
Some people would say that was deep. A man in his own words is, I'm uncertain of what I'm certain about.
Right.
So do you question yourself a lot?
Sure, who didn't? Who doesn't?
Well, some people have an ego and they think they know everything.
I think you can have an ego, but still have questions. Now, ego means that you won't ask those questions out loud, or you won't necessarily let people know that there is a question. But it's foolhardy to believe that you have all the answers. And I think that if you have all the answers and you know anything, where is there a need to go on? What do you need to know? You might as well end it all because you've done everything, you've seen everything, you know everything. I think the world is so expansive and interesting that you have to open up yourself to the possibilities of things you like and don't.
What about television and movies?
Mm-hmm.
Favorite actor?
I have so many favorite actors, but I love Denzel Washington. I love Don Cheadle. I love Tom Hanks. I love Lawrence Fishburne. I love so many of them, but the thing that I love the most about the art and craft of acting is that there are artists that I believe them every time they embody a role. I believe them. I believe I'm disavowed of the ability to know reality. I can suspend my belief to invest in a performance, and I think that's ultimately quintessentially artistic, is when I know a thing, I see a thing, I believe a thing, but I'll throw that all away for what you're doing right now.
If there's anyone who you could meet, past or present, that you haven't met, who would that be and why?
Winston Churchill. Or Mark Twain.
Why?
Or Helen Keller. I just think that they were etched indelibly in that moment. I think Helen Keller specifically, because she talked about the very essence of what we're going through. And here's a woman that couldn't see, or couldn't hear, or couldn't speak, but she visualized this world so succinctly that everybody got it. Imagine a world where you communicate with no recognizable form. Like, I can't talk like you talk. I don't see what you see, but I understand you. And I think that is the essence of humanity. That is the purest form of it, when it doesn't matter. Because there are universal languages. I think math is one, love is one, and music is one. But I think that to be so succinct as a human being that I get you even when I don't hear you, that's transcendent to me.
Who influences you?
Everything. My children, my wife, the world, music, sunlight, darkness. Somebody said something to me that if a seed had eyes, all it would see is darkness. So you are planted in the darkness, but you grow in the light.
You're like a black Buddha.
No.
A walking billboard of wisdom.
No, it's just I love clarity. I love specificity. I love succinctness. I love directness. And I think there are things that you understand because they demand that you do. And I think those are the things that resonate with me.
What are your thoughts on Black history?
I think that it's a shame that we have to have interpreters and editors of our history. And the fact that most of our history starts in the middle. Most of our history, specifically in this country, if you are of African descent, it starts where people are telling you what it is. We are so much more than we'll ever fully comprehend, because I think that if we ever came to an awareness of who we are and our station and what we've done, that we'd have a decidedly different outcome, and that doesn't work for the world as it's constructed, our world. So I think when I think of our history, I think that it's so unfinished and so scattershot.
Scattershot. When you mention reading, what type of books do you like to read?
All of them. I like thrillers, I like mysteries, I like fiction, I like I like reading for the same way I like women or whiskey or wine or music. I like things that make me want to know and thirst for more. I like things that are surprises. I like things that were great to me or would appeal to me before I knew that they would.
What is your favorite food?
I like the food that I'm hungry for at that moment. So if I like to eat what I like to eat when I like to eat it.
This is not Dr. Seuss.
No,
I need a
it's
food.
just- no,
Mexican,
like
fried chicken.
No, I like things. What I try to do is I equate people's food with how they feel about themselves and the people that will consume it.
Do you cook?
No, because it doesn't interest me at all.
But can you cook?
No, why?
Well, why not?
Because if I want to eat, I'll find somebody to make sure that I can. It's not interesting to me. It's not an interesting thing to me.
What is your favorite color?
Red.
Oh. Has it always been your favorite color?
Sure.
Is there a second favorite color?
Black.
Red and black.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts on holidays?
I think that, well, American holidays are so we can eat and sell shit. So I don't. But the essence of holiday isn't about in their truest form isn't about commercialism. Mm-hmm. It's about celebrating the thing, and we found a way to attach that to a profit, a bottom line. So I don't really know a holiday that I would celebrate that I think has much merit.
And I have one last question.
Sure.
What would be your advice or suggestion for a young comic, male or female, that you would tell them that they need to do or should do in getting into that arena?
Well, any arena. It doesn't matter art or law or medicine or philosophy or being a nuclear scientist. You don't have to know what you will do, you just know what you want.
I've learned me something today. You is smart.
I think that's a funny thing to say to people. Mm-hmm. Smart it is what we ascribe to something that we think has a higher meaning. I just am interested in a lot of things and am clear about those things. I love the mechanics of humanity, and I think I always want to know things, and I'm always willing to set aside the things I once believed about a thing to understand, to attempt to understand. So I wouldn't say that I was smart.
What would you say you are?
A human.
Interesting. You're a man of many things.
No. I'm a man of one thing.
Which is?
Humanity.
Enough said. Thank you so much.
For sure.
I really appreciate you giving me your time today. I know your schedule's full, so I'm honored. So, that is all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning in.